Hey yo, what's up guys? It's Boogie back again with a new video. First of all, I just want to say sorry if my voice sounds really funny. I've got COVID currently, so I just thought, well, may as well have got time, so I might do some videos and that. I guess that you guys are probably gonna have to get used to the voice for a little bit. Hopefully by next week I should be fine. I feel perfectly fine. It's just obviously a little bit of phlegm on my throat. It's changing my voice a little bit and got a slight cough and that. So I got the waters prepared, got the waters all ready. But we're going to go into a couple of videos. So I think I'm going to switch it up a little bit. I'm not going to do all the trials all in one video. I think I'm going to separate them all, give a little bit of chat who I like coming into this year, like individual players, because you can't really get a read of a football team off trials the way it is. Obviously last two games there's a lot of errors, a lot of drop balls, but coming into the season they'll be prepared and they will get a lot better during the season. But I feel like if we just look into all the individual type players and how they played and how they looked, you know, we get a good aspect of how the team might run into this year instead of looking at the team aspect, I guess. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoy. As I said, you might have to just take it easy on me with these ones, but hopefully by tomorrow, when I put up the next day's ones, that you guys will get used to. I get a better voice. So anyway, so we have the Sea Eagles versus the Raiders, and I thought this was an awesome game in the first half. It played pretty well. From what we did see from the Sea Eagles team is with their outside backs and the way that they jump on opportunities, that's probably their danger this year. Having people like Jason Saab and Kula, if they do become a pairing, if Morgan Harper comes back, it probably takes that off Kula. But if there was ever a chance that Kula is on that same side, you know, interceptions and drop balls, the way we've seen from the way Jack Whiten was the first half, which it wasn't all his fault, obviously, but, you know, just trying to create plays, and this is what happens in rugby league. But we saw like Saab speed, that guy is phenomenal. As soon as he gets in open field, he's pretty much shut the gate. And Kula, he was only sitting in third by the looks of it, but just as quick. So overall, we'll go through mainly the stats of the game, and then I'll give you my notes and who I really like. So the start of it, so the Raiders won 18-16. Try scored on the Raiders side, Jack Whiten in the 39th minute, Nick Krotrick in the 48th minute, and Joseph Tarpany in the 55th minute, and all conversions went through. For the Sea Eagles, Jason Saab in the 12th minute, Kula in the 31st minute, and Tommy Turbo in the 35th. And Ruben Garrick missing one of those goals. Simbins, Sipley, the halftime score was 16 to the Sea Eagles to 6 to the Raiders. So the Raiders came back in the second half. So onto the top performing player stats. We had Tommy Turbo lead the Sea Eagles in most tackles with 30. We had Sipley with 143 run meters. Great effort from Sipley. We had most line breaks from Ruben Garrick on the Manly side with 1. A lot of them did have 1, so it's not too big of a deal there. And most fantasy points for Manly would be Kieran Foran. For the Raiders, we had Elliot Whitehead with 26 tackles. He was a very roaming type player in this game, so I'll get more into that with my notes. But seeing the way and hearing that they want to move him maybe to 13, I don't really fully agree with that. I think he's a really good edge back rower, but he was moving everywhere and he was in a lot of contact scenarios. Most run meters, Matthew Tomoko. He played pretty well in this one. Most line breaks, Jack Whiten. Guessing that line break was the one where he scored the try. And most fantasy points, Joseph Tarpany, who had a great game overall. So onto my notes from the game. Basically, I'll start off with Manly and what I thought and who I thought stood out and who I really like to see. So my first note, I had Kula with a good first contact in defense at centre. So there was a couple of nice tackles he did put on in centre. He wasn't amazing on the defensive side, and I think their better defensive side is with Brad Parker and Ruben Garrick's side. They played really well defensively. But I feel like everything that Kula was doing, he looked like he could stand up to a first grade squad. It's really whether they want to have him over Morgan Harper, who has been there and has consistently done it. Obviously, Tommy Turbo was an everything. He played amazing in this one. Not amazing, but like he was in a trial form. He played really well, and I really see him having another great breakout year. Like, I don't see him slowing down from what he was last year, to be honest. So Jason Saab, obviously with the intercept for that first try of the game, really came down to Jack Wighton risking it, trying to put a cutout ball on a really tall, long, lanky winger that's got some speed and good hands. So Jason Saab nicked that out of the air and went about 90 to 100 meters to score the try, and did not look like he was going to be catched. I know Savage gave him a good crack, but by the time that Saab hit about the 30, I pretty much it was shut the gate. We saw Jake Trbojevic come out in his defensive form, as always. Great tackler with the footy, amazing technique. He had a shot on Xavier Savage that made Savage drop the ball. He had a decent game as well. Really shored up that middle, and he was working really hard in their defensive sets. So he's going to have a good year, old Jakey. Hopefully he gets his brother for the full year, and yeah, I hope that continues on. So as I said before, I thought the left side with Brad Parker defended really, really well, especially against players like Valame, who were trying to tear up that left-hand side. But every opportunity they really could get, Brad Parker was there and thereabouts. Defensively, he's an awesome player. I think he's going to have a good year for the Manly Sea Eagles. I think Ola Kawatu started off pretty well. I think he runs the ball hard. Obviously, there was good signs there until the injury. I really hope that he's all good from the injury. I had to probably drop him from my fantasy team. I'll probably put up my fantasy changes and stuff. Hopefully next week coming into the season, who I think's going to be in the team. I did figure out a way to fit Payne Haas in my squad, so my forward pack looked pretty nice. But obviously, there's a lot of chop and changing and trying to figure out my halves pairing at the moment, like whether Kiri is going to play or not to start the season. So yeah, I'll update a video on that coming next week, definitely, and a table look where everyone could place. And I think this year is going to be really, really hard to figure out where everyone's going to be placed, who's going to be in the 8, and obviously who's going to win Wooden Spoon. On the fence, thinking about, what teams aren't going to really hack it this year. I feel like there is teams obviously there, and there's teams that I figure about, but when you look at everything and all their strengths, if everyone goes well, like there's a lot of teams that could push for the 8 this year. So moving on, that edge with Kula and Saab, if they get out in the open, it's pretty much shut the gate. Yeah, so if you see Kula and Saab pick up the open ball on the field, I feel like it's pretty much game over. Tapau unfortunately came down with an injury, so I hope he's doing well. Didn't look too great on the back. KO Weeks, he moves really well. I feel like he's going to be something in the future. I think he needs a little bit more development, but he'll be there. Plus, I thought Sipley played decent. Paseka had a couple of errors, but filled in a nice spot there. And if they get the best out of Carl Lawton, knowing him from the Warriors system, he could be pretty damaging. So it's crazy to have a player like him. Injuries is his only downfall. He does have a couple of injuries that he carries, but if he plays the way he was playing for us, then he's pretty damaging coming off the bench. So moving on with the Canberra side and people that I've looked at, Josh Hodgson was actually looking really nice and settled at hooker. I feel like their spine with Hodgson, Fogarty, Wighton really settled. So then we saw obviously Starling come on and give that spark, which is exactly what he was last year. So it's kind of tough to pick between, but I feel like with Hodgson there, Fogarty and Wighton could play to their strengths because he does take a lot of that, fitting everyone where they need to be and controlling the footy really well. I know in this sort of new type of game, fast hookers that come out of the blocks and come off the markers that aren't square and make line breaks and obviously keep the forwards rolling forward are a big part. But I feel like there's still opportunities for players like Josh Hodgson to take over a game, and his kicking game was really awesome from what I saw. Really gave a lot of pressure off people like Fogarty and Wighton. Fogarty taking off that first or second kicking role. I think he's going to be a good fit for Jack Wighton. gave Jack Wighton to be what he was always been and always will be, is a very strong running half that's got good defense. He made a couple of bad decisions in this game, but then obviously made up for it with a nice try line break and defense. I feel like his defense was pretty on point. I feel like the Canberra forwards did look good in this game. I feel like Papali'i had a couple of nice shots. Tarpany looks really damaging. Players like Whitehead, without a couple of the errors, he looked really good. Adam Elliott had a couple of nice moments there, poking his nose through the hole, through the line, and punching through holes. I feel like Horsburgh came on and had a little bit of energy about him, so I feel like he's in for a good year. Corey Harawira-Naia look really nice. You know, obviously a big forward that can move, and also got a really nice offload on him. Another player that stood out for me in this game was Matthew Tomoko. I thought that whenever he touched the ball and he was running, he was really hard to handle, really hard to stop. He runs pretty hard, obviously being the most meters on the Raiders side. Low center of gravity, nice footwork at the line, but also got a little bit of speed to him. So I feel like he's going to be a player to watch this year, whether he starts the center or not. And then also pairing with someone like Nick Cotric. I think Nick Cotric is in for a good year this year, back at the Raiders, back where he needs to be. I think he just needs to get back to the simple stuff, where he was a damaging runner back in the day, and I feel like with the Bulldogs, he just didn't seem there. He didn't seem like he loved his footy. And now we're back with the Raiders. Hopefully he gets that love again and just runs hard. And obviously with a nice try, I thought that he had a decent game, and I found a way. I think I've chucked him to my fantasy team. As I said, everything's still up in the air with fantasy, and I feel like he's in for a good year. And overall, I feel like the whole Xavier Savage sort of situation, I feel like from what I've seen, he's put on some weight. He's put on a little bit of size to him. Still, there's a couple of moments, you know, where he's hitting a line, he's getting driven back the way he is. I feel like in open field and that he's all goods. I still think that he needs a couple of weeks developing, maybe sitting on a wing spot or maybe coming in later on in the year. But he's definitely got a bright future in front of him because he does a lot what players cannot do. I think he just needs that little bit of time to get used to the contacts and the way the NRL competition is played with hard contact and stuff. He had a couple of errors, but as I said, he moves so well, so I feel like he's got a massive future ahead of him. I'm really excited to see what the future brings for Xavier Savage. So my overall insight to this game is basically, you know, first half was pretty much Manly off a whole lot of Raiders errors, and I think obviously this comes down to its trial form. They're still figuring out the way they're going to run things and all that sort of stuff. But once they get everything together, I think the Raiders are going to be all right this year, especially if they get their players like Wighton playing back to where he needs to be and Nick Cotric. They could be a really damaging team. I think they just need to keep consistent, no silly penalties, no errors coming into the main season. And with the Sea Eagles, I really feel like they're going to have a great year. There's one thing with the Eagles though, where like consistency in attack, unless it's through Tommy, I don't see, other than like obviously opportunistic plays. There's not a lot going on. I think they need to figure that out. I know Foran had a decent game, and DCE played pretty well. A couple of his kicks didn't come off as accurate as possible, but then with players like Olakau'atu, and I think they just need to give him early ball and get him into those holes and pretty much using him the way Leilua was used in the Tigers game. So he could use his footwork at the line, offloads. I feel like DCE really holds up that ball and tries to hit him on a short ball. You know, obviously very powerful runner and that, but I feel like Olakau'atu's strengths are that you give him early ball, he can put a sidestep at the line, and for a big boy, the way he fends off and offload, that's the most damaging player I see for him. So I feel like Sea Eagles still got a ways to go, but I feel like this year definitely a top 8 team and going to be contending for a final series. Overall, this was a very messy game coming into the end of it, obviously with the rain. As I said, these are trial matches, guys, so I don't really look into that too much, but it's good to see teams like this get a hit out with their mostly full strength squads. So hopefully next week with their first round teams, they go pretty well and fix up a lot of those little errors and their defensive lapses. But yeah, I felt like both teams performed pretty well. Obviously, the Raiders more so in the second half than the first, but the first half was pretty much all Sea Eagles. So if you guys keep enjoying this content, my next video, obviously the Tigers versus the Roosters, so I'll put that one out pretty shortly as well. And yeah, I hope you guys really enjoy this. Leave a like, comment, subscribe. Please let me know if there's anything I can improve in that. Again, I am so sorry with COVID. I'm just chugging along, keep chucking out videos to see what happens. I really enjoy this. So yeah, I hope you guys all have a good weekend, a good day, and a good trials. And yeah, peace out.